La dichiarazione di guerra è già stata consegnata agli ambasciatori.
Mussolini says, "We shall conquer." 3 years later, in May 1943, what remains of the Italian army in Africa surrenders at Cap Bon in Tunisia. This is the end of the great fascist dream. There isn't going to be another Roman Empire. And from Alexandria to Tangiers, the Mediterranean coastline is in the hands of the Allies. The landing in Sicily is the greatest amphibious operation ever attempted. Coming from all the North African ports, hundreds of boats sail before a stormy wind towards the Sicilian beaches. At dawn, on July the 10th, 1943, two armies set foot on the shores of southern Sicily. In the east, Montgomery's 8th Army. In the west, the American 7th Army under General George Patton, who, with his boots, his tourist's camera, and his cowboy colt, immediately becomes the star of the campaign. In spite of a certain amount of confusion due to inexperience, the landing is a complete success. The Italian coastal divisions don't put up much of a fight. After all, as the Allies' propaganda leaflets say, why die for Hitler? Montgomery, the desert conqueror, doesn't hide his satisfaction. The Allied soldiers find, amongst the fascist background, fanatical propaganda in favor of Mussolini, Il Duce. But people are tired of war and ready to give the conquerors a triumphant welcome. Americans of Sicilian origin leave pockets full of addresses in the villages, looking for cousins. Above all, there's the arrival of the American uncle, handsome, rich, generous, and well-disposed to solace the misery of little people. Some partisans are brought out from the shadows. People murmur that they also belong to the mafia. Everything has turned against fascism. The party officers struggle terrified in the purifying stream of democracy. Italian officials, who had found it easy to please the Germans, believed that they would have no difficulty in accommodating the new masters. The start of the invasion of Europe has been disconcertingly easy. The Italians, no longer enemies, are not yet trusted allies. But the Germans soon put a stop to this military parade. From the north of Italy, flying low over the water to escape the attention of the Allies, the heavy Junkers 52 of the Luftwaffe drop a division of paratroops and launch an immediate counterattack. Patton, anxiously watching this sudden hardening of the situation, demands reinforcements urgently. From Algeria, Eisenhower sends him airborne troops. But when the planes arrive above the bridgehead, the Allied anti-aircraft forces, not recognizing them, open fire. the planes disperse and hundreds of the paratroopers are killed, shot or drowned. The Allies, who have air supremacy, now have to conquer a Sicily they believed was theirs for the taking. The offensive continues. In the east, Montgomery, confident of his experience of the 8th Army, which he's led since Egypt, intends to be the real victor. But he loses valuable time at Catania, at the foot of Mount Etna. Between the two armies, British and American, a real race develops to take Messina, at the northern tip of the island. The Germans, too few in number, feel the game is lost. But profiting from the splitting up maneuver of the Allies, they organize a Sicilian Dunkirk, and thanks to this, succeed in escaping to the Italian mainland with most of their equipment. When the American planes arrive over Messina, they are too late. The bird has flown. But for Patton, it's still a victory. He's sure to smoke out later the Germans who've escaped him now. Patton is first into Messina, where he welcomes the 8th Army of his rival Montgomery, as well as his own chief Eisenhower. A stupid incident mars his career for a time. In a field hospital, Patton slaps the face of a soldier affected by nervous depression. Eisenhower, on Roosevelt's orders, signifies the president's displeasure at this shameful act. Opposite the narrow channel, Ike and Monty, as the soldiers call them, are studying the Italian coast. It has taken 5 weeks to conquer Sicily, which offered little resistance. What has the Battle of Italy got in store for the Allies?